I am looking into the future to forecast who Racy Raquel's mystery person is on All My Children. That's next on Northwest Afternoon.
In small ways, in great ways, people in our community are making the Northwest a better place to live. And they're called PEMCO Hometown Heroes.
Craig Meldal teaches his students more than just their curriculum. He's giving kids at risk a chance to become responsible citizens. His hard work and dedication will continue to impact future generations.
PEMCO Hometown Heroes, celebrating the strength of our community.
If this house could talk, it wouldn't tell you about the custom cabinets in each Fleetwood home, but about Coco and heart-to-heart talks. And it wouldn't go on about our wall-to-wall warranty, but about kids growing 2 inches in a year. Because at Fleetwood, we know the quality that counts most in a home is the quality of life inside. Fleetwood Homes, quality for life. Call 1-800-350-2200 for a Fleetwood Homes retailer near you.
Critics are calling Practical Magic a terrific brew of fun and fantasy.
The worst tasting men. Well, you do.
Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman, Practical Magic, rated PG-13. The magic begins this Friday.
How will a recession affect you? KOMO's town meeting Sunday.
My name is Phyllis Curot, and I'm proof that witches are for real. Next.
Live from Seattle, it's Northwest Afternoon with Elisa Jaffe, Kent Phillips, and the Queen of Soaps, Cindy Reinhardt.
You'll likely have a witch ringing your doorbell in about 2 weeks, but today's guests say those black hats and warts on the nose aren't the way real witches look.
I didn't even know there were real witches, but now I know witches are back in the public eye, like a lot of folks behind us here with movies like Practical Magic and shows like Sabrina.
Before a witch can actually use her license, she has to discover her family's secret.
Excuse me? Well, today's guest says she's out of the closet. And before you say, oh, broom closet, well, you will want to meet this woman who is a top attorney by day and says she is a high priestess by night.
Interesting stuff. Now, here's your Queen of Soap, Cindy.
I thought you'd say the high priestess of the soaps.
You're lucky we didn't say the witch.
Now, get out of here. Today I smell a rat on All My Children. That racy rat Raquel plans to stir up more trouble when her mystery person arrives in Pine Valley. And the verdict is in on One Life to Live. What is Tricky Todd's fate? You're going to find out today. And today we are announcing the last 5 qualifiers in our Northwest Afternoon Super Soap Getaway. I can't wait, man. So let's start with General Hospital, okay? Is that all right with you? Okay. Tony is so terrible, and he sure knows how to fling the insults.
What about you, the Port Charles #1 organized crime groupie?
That mouth of yours again. You just don't know when to shut it.
The woman who arranges play dates for Lucas at the apartment of the Port Charles Kingpin, and then arranges a front row seat for him to witness the arrest of your latest underworld conquest.
You're despicable. I can't believe I was ever married to you.
And so who can? Nobody can stand Tony. He's not Tony the Tiger, he's Tony the Terrible. Oh, and the judge broke up at the put-down party, and in the end, awarded Tony 1 month grace period to see Lucas, and to prove he's worth it, because he's half nuts. And in the Q Mansion, they voted on Alexis to be the ELQ lawyer, and the vote was a tie with Krusty Kate as the tiebreaker, and she said, heck no. Of course, check out Alan. He sneaked into the Quartermaines, stole Monica's precious diamonds, and pawned them for his prescription pill-popping habit. I mean, and you know what? Somebody else is going to get blamed for that little act, and that means a huge argument. Leah, you're on the phone. Hi.
Hi, I have a question about
I
GH.
know she's on the phone. Why did I say that? Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
Good.
My question is about GH. Is Nicholas ever going to find out that Stefan is his father?
Oh, yeah. But they're going to wait for Tony Geary to get back, Luke, because they've got to deal with that whole thing, and he's coming back soon, and that's when I think you're going to see all those lies come out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Have a good day. Speaking of lies, lies, and more lies on our kids are desperate, despicable. danged Allie told David that she intends on faking her pregnancy until she's Mrs. Jake Martin. And when David said he just ain't gonna let her do that, she reminded him that she has his taped confession. And Opal, true Spitfire form.
When I get through with you, you're gonna be begging to leave. You think war is hell, Mr. Military Strategy Expert? Well, just wait till you experience the fury of a wife who has been duped and dumped for some tarted up old doodles.
For some what? Some what? Oh, thank you, Jamie. Anyway, later, beautiful bad boy Braden showed up at Cortland Manor, and old Sourpuss Palmer hired him as his right hand, gave him like 30 days to prove himself. And then the sad news, Trevor found Amanda, and they had a little father and daughter talk.
We're going to have to be braver than all the superheroes and heroines all rolled into one. To let Harold out of his suffering, we're going to have to say goodbye to him. We're going to have to let him go.
No, Daddy, we can't.
And excuse me, a lot of you guys are emailing me saying, Cindy, why are they killing off Harold? You know, I've lost a pet and da-da-da. Well, I think it's because that they decided to move on in the storyline somewhere else, but they thought instead of just having the dog go away, let's deal with losing a pet. And I think it's going to be well done. It's being well done. So I'm going to Joanna. Hey, Joanna!
Hey.
What's up, girlfriend?
So, I have a prediction.
Oh, good.
I have a prediction that Braden, the old Sinbad.
Yeah, the old Sinbad.
Yes.
Zen Gessner is his name.
Yes. And Palmer's going to really like him as what's her name?
Dixie?
Dixie. Yeah, as Dixie's partner. And so Tad and him and the three, or actually the four, are going to like.
Well, before that ever happens, I've got to tell you, I've got a scoop later on this week about what happens to Dixie and Tad in New York City, and they're not anywhere near that. But I'll explain that to you a little bit later on. Before they get to that problem, they're going to have to deal with another one. And I think Adrian's Opal's son.
Oh yeah.
Don't you?
I don't know. It's sort of weird though, because with Tad, it's like
I think. Can you see Palmer's face? Yo, Adrian. Hey, and PC Lee warned Scott that he's going to be called to testify at Julie's trial, and then Scott told Karen and Joe, later. Eve told Chris that they should tell the truth, but Chris said, no way, we're not telling the truth. So when Chris took the stand, he ratted about the shrine in Eve's closet, and then Courtney reported Neil's kidnapping. About that time, John and Neil showed up and had a little father-son outing. Innocent stuff, at least so he said. He really didn't try and kidnap him, if you know what I'm saying here. Little pregnant pause is always a good thing. On Days of Her Life, Sammy told Carrie she wants her and Austin to take care of Will. And if she's found guilty, but sister said, no way, Jose. Oh, hum, anyway, who cares? And then Allie was busy whining and dining Mike. And, of course, Craig and Nancy, I mean, they love that. And last, Stefano, was in the bayou trying to figure out what happened to Greta. Watch for him and the backward Bayou Boys to team up. It's so silly. And on the beach, Annie strikes again. She sneaked into Maria's room in a fit of rage and revealed that Maria was Ben's wife.
You and Ben, you were meant to be together forever. And I'm going to make sure that you still are.
Stop it! Stop it! No. It is not true, Ben. It's Meg's husband, not mine.
Oh, well, poor Ben. I got to tell you, the poor Charles murder stuff is starting to bore me. Just one, go on record. Taking a break. Up next, Todd. Well, he's going to be making headlines next week on One Life to Live. The verdict's in on a fake 4 friend's face. And then on All My Children, Racy Raquel's mystery person is coming to Pine Valley. I'll be forecasting the future on this newcomer, all that, right after this. Don't go away.
A high-powered lawyer turned high priestess of witchcraft, using secret rituals and spells to boost her career. Still ahead, how her unique spiritual journey changed her life, and why she says witchcraft can unlock your inner power.
On the next Rosie O'Donnell show, for the first time ever, Rosie spends a whole hour with Oprah.
I'm on the Rosie O'Donnell show!
On the next very special Rosie.
Today at 4 on KOMO-ABC 4.
They mend our hearts.
That tend to our injuries.
Our illnesses, our cancers.
They deliver our babies.
They're our dads, our moms, our brothers.
They're us. Where do you find doctors and nurses like these? At Evergreen, Stevens, and Valley, our community-owned hospitals.
Mobile homeowners. MSI refinances mobile homes for cash out. MSI refinances mobile homes for monthly savings. Our mobile home simplicity loan makes it simple to apply. You do it right over the phone. Simple to get approved. You need that perfect credit. Simple to close, right in the comfort of your home. Simple interest, which makes it simple to pay. Cash out of your mobile home or refi for savings, MSI does them both. Call 888-MSI-LOAN toll-free to see if you qualify.
So, what'll it be, man?
Well, I'm feeling a little zesty.
Feeling
Hungry?
Then how come you don't try McDonald's new Cajun McChicken sandwich with Cajun-style chicken and fresh lettuce on a sesame seed bun?
Hey, check this out. Ready? Film noir. Cool.
McDonald's Cajun McChicken, just 99 cents.
How much?
Just 99 cents.
I guarantee. Sure enough.
I was feeling so bad, so I asked my family doctor just what we had. I said, doctor, pass the MD. Doctor, is what I need now, yeah, is softness, please.
Want that good soft feeling? Count on MD bath tissue. MD is twin quilted with 2 thick layers of puffy little cushions for extra special softness and stay together strength.
MD, give me that good soft feeling.
MD for that good soft feeling.
You can't really live where we live and not care about the environment. The environment's one reason I live here. One reason I want to bring my kids up here. It's one reason we spend so much time outside. I wrote the bill to restore salmon runs on the Elwha River. It preserves something special. And it's a plan that gives us $1 worth of value for every dollar we spend on the environment. That's how we give our kids the same beautiful state that we inherited.
Police are looking for a man who assaulted 5 women in this area. Tomorrow, the respected national expert who can tell you how to stay safe. And he reveals what $4 item will make you 500% safer. Be part of our studio audience. Call 206-443-8333 for your free tickets.
Welcome back to Northwest Afternoon. Tomorrow, I'm going to make one of you very happy. You know that? I mean, very happy. It's our grand prize drawing to see which one of you gets to meet Jax. That's right. And then on One Life, Naughty Nora's desperate lie about being pregnant may become a reality. Get the squirmy soup. Scoop. Soup. Okay, last flying hour. Sharon's life is, I can't talk today, I give up, is about to be shattered in more ways than one. Life-changing scoop tomorrow on Sharon. But right now, let's get back to all my little curmudgeons. I smell a racy rat. That's Raquel. And she's stirring up trouble, as you know. Now, we've seen her on the phone several times, right? Talking to some mystery person. Well, guess what, folks? I've got a little insider info on the mystery person. First, the name, okay, is the name of a man. More specifically, the name is Max. Of course, that still doesn't tell us much. However, I've been thinking about this, and I think it's time for me to make a prediction. Now, nobody told me this is going to happen. I'm going to see in the future with my borrowed Days of Our Lives goggles. Now let me see. His name is Max. It starts with an M, right? Max. Now I think I see something else. Let me see. It's coming in. Oh, wait a second. Let me just tweak this. Yeah. I see a boy. The boy's name is Max. But wait, hold it. It's not just a boy. That's right. Max is somebody's, out of adjustment, son. But whose? Wait. Oh, the image is fading. Oh, rats. Anyway, that's all I can see for now. So I poofed. Powerful things there. Almost sucked my eyeballs right out. Anyway, I predict that Max is somebody's son. I really do. But the question, is it Raquel and Mateo's, or will it be, little Max be Raquel's weapon, or we'll see. Stay tuned. I want to know your predictions, though, including if you think I'm wrong. So call me at my soap line, 206-443-3439, and tell me what you think. And on One Life to Live, let's go to the courtroom. And first of all, chaos.
They stick me with fake dynamite. Can't trust those bozos to do anything.
Your Honor, for heaven's sake, stop this now. Order in this courtroom. You don't understand. If this altar is allowed to remain in control, I will lose my brother forever.
Or on the other hand, maybe what would happen, one of Vicky's altars would come out and do battle with one of Todd's altars. I mean, they are brother and sister, and Vicky did. Okay, I'll go on. Nora confessed to both that she's not pregnant, but he was passed out and didn't hear her. So now let's get back to the courtroom and see what happened to Pete, Todd, and Tom, and whatever. It was the big confession.
It's the kid. And he was my dad. He wasn't supposed to do that, right? He's supposed to protect me.
That's right. That's right. What did he do? Tell the court, please. The word. What did he do to you?
My father raped me.
Ow. And at the end of the day, we saw Todd being a little more like Todd. Now, we saw quite a scene at Todd's trial today, so the question is, will our 4 fake faces of Todd be enough to set Todd free? My inside sources at One Life to Live say this will be the big headline next week. Extra, read all about Todd Manning's trial, and the headline reads, Personalities Perk. That's what I say. The reason I say Personalities Perk is because Todd's personality ploy is coming with the biggest perk of all. He's going to get personally set free. Now, that's right. Todd will be found not guilty, but with perks comes problems. See? It's going to be a lot of fun, isn't it? Todd does not get off Todd free. Stay tuned for the courtroom chaos, because Mr. Manning will have to meet 3 stipulations that will have Todd turning over the top terribly. I can't do these T's, P's, and Z's anymore, Becky. Now let's get to our Northwest Afternoon Super Soap Getaway and some more wonderful winners. It is the final day in our Watch and Win week, and 20 lucky viewers will get the chance to be drawn this Friday, and one of you will win the grand prize, a fabulous trip for 2 to Los Angeles to visit the set of GH and meet one of daytime's hottest hunks. That's Jack Singo Rademacher. Each of the 20 qualifiers will win a KOMO-TV 4 gift pack, which includes some really, honest to goodness, you guys, great stuff. So, drum roll please, Mr. Director Jamie. Thank you. The 5 final qualifiers are Joanne Boggs from Cusick, Leah Gordon from Seattle, Belinda Chandler, Federal Way, and Michelle Rosa from Tacoma. Last but not least, Kimberly Thompson from Kirkland. Congratulations. Okay, stay tuned tomorrow. That's the big day. I'm going to draw the 1 grand prize winner. I cannot talk today. Twice went up from all around, so don't miss it. We're going to take a break. Is there something to help my tongue? Can you do a conjure up of... We're taking a break. Northwest Afternoon will be right back.
Up next, meet the high-powered attorney who says finding witchcraft dramatically helped her career and boosted her love life. She explains how when we come back.
Tonight on KOMO-4 News.
Next time you stay at a hotel, will you be sleeping on day-old sheets? See how some hotels are postponing linen laundry to save a buck and save the earth.
Tonight at 5 on KOMO-4 News.
1 can of paint, $26.
Al, check approval, register 5.
1 lousy can of paint, $26.
Al, check approval on 5.
Knowing you'll never have to wait for Al, priceless. Debit MasterCard withdraws right from your checking account without the hassle of checks. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's Debit MasterCard.
Al.
Get all the benefits of Debit MasterCard with a Boeing Employees Credit Union Supreme Plus card.
Visit the Northwest Afternoon homepage. You can find us at www.komotv.com or email us at nwa@komotv4.com.
It's the place you've been looking for. The place for fashion, for food, for film. Pacific Place. It's the place you've been hearing about, and it's opening Thursday, October 29th. Pacific Place, 6th and Pine, downtown Seattle. 5 levels of extraordinary shopping, dining, and cinema. The grand opening begins at 9 a.m. We'll be looking for you.
7
pieces of furniture, one low price.
Call 800-451-7777. Nationwide warehouse.
I'm not a witch at all. Witches are old and ugly.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
When you think of witches, is this what comes to mind? The deliciously wicked witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz who frightened us as kids and even as adults? Or the classic evil witch from Disney's Snow White?
Or is this the picture you paint?
I am a witch. I'm Glinda, the Witch of the North.
You know, as children, everybody was taken by the performance of Glenda the Good Witch.
There seems to be a newfound fascination these days with witches. They're making a comeback in movies, on TV. Case in point, ABC's huge hit show, Sabrina.
Before a witch can actually use her lightning, she has to discover her family's secret. Excuse me?
Before you think witches are just a product of Hollywood, meet these people in our front row. Each one of them says they are a witch, and not every one of our viewers is too happy to hear that.
And this high-powered attorney from Manhattan says she's a witch, too. Please welcome Phyllis Curantz. Phyllis, to start off, you talk about in your book, you're with a coven and you became a high priestess, and you're talking about the initiation ceremony. I want to read something, because this fascinates me. I think there are fears, and we've gotten a lot of faxes about this show. You say in your book, I found myself overwhelmed with panic. Maybe these people are really Satanists. Maybe it's all an elaborate plot to secure victims for some hideous sacrifice. How long have I really known these women anyway? A terrifying shadow of fear confronted me. I think people watching today are feeling that same way. I mean, you were feeling this way, and you were in this initiation process. In fact, tell us about this. I mean, you were naked in this process?
Oh, men love this part. I tell you, it's going to be the most popular. We know it's the fastest growing spiritual practice in the United States right now, and that has a lot to do with women. But there are increasing numbers of men coming to the spirituality, and I think it's because they find out
they see the naked
women are worshiping without clothes on, and also because sex is a sacrament. Yes, I mean, obviously, when I first discovered this group of witches, I had the same reaction that everybody does because of the way that we're raised in this culture. We're all raised to believe in the wicked witch, the green-faced hag. But as soon as I discovered this group of women, I discovered that underneath the mask of the evil witch is the beautiful face of the goddess. And at the last moment, yes, indeed, I was confronting my fears. That's what an initiation is about. It's actually, Joseph Campbell talks about it in A Hero with a Thousand Faces. And it's actually at the heart of virtually every religion in the world. It's the idea of the hero's descent, the challenge to face your fears, your innermost fears, and in the process of doing that, to overcome them, and to see that actually each one of us contains the divine within us, and to make contact with that sacred energy, and to go back into life, and to bring that message to the world. And that's what my initiation was really all about.
But I don't understand exactly what happened. If you could take me back through the process of why you were frightened, what's going through your head, and what are they doing to you that's got you so scared when you're saying, I might have Satan around me?
Well, what happened was the surfacing of the age-old stereotype, the stereotype that everyone has been raised with.
So are you looking around and there are a bunch of naked women all around you?
I'm blindfolded. I can't look anywhere.
Well, let me get this straight. You're naked and blindfolded.
Naked and blindfolded and confined. But so where do you look? You look within.
I'd be freaked.
Yeah, sure you would.
Well, why would you even want to be putting yourself in a situation where you're naked and blindfolded with a bunch of people standing around you?
Well, they weren't standing around me at the time. I was alone. I was alone, which is exactly where we're supposed to be. The initiatory process, I mean, we can't really go into the details because part of it is the mystery of it. If I told everyone all about it, when they decided that this was a spiritual path that was full of wisdom and wonder and wanted to pursue it, there would be no mystery for them.
So you think, well, we hear about it, we'll all go home and become high priestesses?
Well, I don't know if you'll go home if we just talk about the initiation.
Okay.
But if we talk about everything else that's involved, I think that you will join the millions of other people in the United States who will be interested in finding out more about what this is really all about.
So let me take you back.
Yeah.
When did you first realize that you might have some sort of prophetic dreams, or there might be something in you that made you a goddess, as you say?
Well, no, I don't think of myself as a goddess,
right.
But I do think of myself as having a piece of the goddess within me, as we all do.
Mm-hmm.
My last year in law school, I started to have very spontaneous occurrences. Native Americans would call it a shamanic break. I started to have visionary dreams precognitive dreams and little flashes of intuition.
Give me an example.
Women's intuition. Oh, I would look at somebody, and as if I were reading a little ticker tape across their forehead, I would see what they were thinking. And I would think, oh, I'm invading oh, this is silly, I'm making it up. And then out of their mouths would come, yeah, I think I will go down to the corner to have that hamburger, which was, you know, I mean, it could be just that silly and mundane.
But some people come on our show and they say they go through that and they say they're psychic. They don't say they're a witch.
Right. Well, and so they are. They may be psychic. And witches have remarkable psychic gifts. But they're not inherited powers and they're not supernatural powers. They're the powers that we all have. We simply happen to be paying attention to them and cultivating them, which is a lot of what the old religion of the goddess is actually all about. It's about tools and techniques that anyone can use to experience the divine within themselves and in the world around them. These are ancient techniques that people can master very easily themselves, and it enables them to take off the blindfold and to see that the world that we live in is sacred and divine.
But I'll bet you don't tell all the attorneys at the law firm where you work, because you are a high-powered attorney in Manhattan. I must say you're an entertainment lawyer. You work with major, at the time, you worked with major rock bands and musicians, very famous people. And if they heard you were a witch...
Well, they probably would have come to see me a little more often.
So you're having these dreams. You've got a very successful career.
Yeah.
How do you go from that to ending up in a coven?
Well, that's why I wrote Book of Shadows, actually, because if I could have that spiritual adventure, being the intellectual skeptic that I was, I realized that anyone could have that adventure. And so I wrote the book basically to bring people along on the journey.
And we've got some video that CNBC took of you in a coven, in a circle. And when you say the Book of Shadows, there was one situation, you say, when you were with this group of women, that a shadow appeared.
Oh, right.
And this just gave me chills when I read the book. Can you describe...
You saw it, others saw it.
Can you describe what happened?
That was a very remarkable experience. It's a good example of the kinds of capacities that we cultivate, that all of us could in fact cultivate. It was the experience of one of the women in our circle had been sexually attacked. And we were doing a banishing circle and then a protection circle, basically to help her purify and cleanse and release those energies that had overwhelmed her and that were certainly coloring her life. And so we did a ritual in order to all combine our strengths and our powers. It's interesting, Practical Magic, which is coming out right now, has a wonderful scene at the end of the movie where there are a lot of skeptical women and some who are even antagonistic to the family of witches, and they come to help a woman who is having a problem. And in fact, with this kind of very oppressive male energy, which unfortunately we find in our culture. And we did this circle, and we helped the woman in the circle to banish and break that energy. Well, one of the things that I learned is that before you can banish something, you have to see it. I mean, you can't do it in the abstract. It has, right? If I want to blow out the candle, it first has to be lit. So this energy basically manifested. It was like a very cold, dark, oppressive presence. And it was very frightening. But the power of all of us together was such that we were able to fracture it and expel it.
But it was interesting to me that you each say you saw it individually without talking to each other. You all realized that you saw it. We've got to take a commercial break. Sorry to interrupt you right now. And when we come back, we're going to share some of these emails because we got a lot of them today, and a lot of people are not happy with what you practice. They're not happy with us for doing this show, and we are going to share some of this mail in just a moment. And we all have different stereotypes of witches. Watching Bewitched as a kid probably didn't help most of us.
But are all male witches warlocks? Well, they'll tell us right after this break.
See Meineke today and save.
For a limited time, save a big 50% off lifetime brake pads and shoes.
At Meineke, you won't pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
I guarantee it.
If these windows could talk, they wouldn't tell you how Fleetwood craftsmen build each home by hand, but about favorite family dinners. And they might not mention our solid steel frames, but they'd tell you about pillow fights and pajamas. Because at Fleetwood, we know the quality that counts most in a home is the quality of life inside. Fleetwood Homes, quality for life. Call 1-800-350-2200 for a Fleetwood Homes retailer near you.
Step right up. Wouldn't you like to dance?
Garth, you lead.
Burn. Oh. Huh.
Got milk?
October 8th, 1998. Congressman Rick White votes to continue the impeachment proceedings against the president. Rick White's vote on impeachment will drag us through months and months of more mud and politics.
I'm Jay Inslee. What the president did was wrong. He should be censured, but not impeached. Rick White and Newt Gingrich shouldn't be dragging us through this. Enough is enough. It's time to get on with the nation's business.
See Monarchy today and save.
For a limited time, save a big 50% off lifetime brake pads and shoes.
At Meineke, you won't pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
I guarantee it.
The daughter of superstars, coming to terms with an inner struggle that changed her life forever. On Monday's Northwest Afternoon, Chastity Bono reveals how her secret life rocked Cher's world and why Sonny's private support wasn't enough.
We are joined by Phyllis Curott, who is a witch, she says, and so she's also a high priestess, and this is not going to be an easy thing for you to tell people, let alone to come to terms with yourself. Were you afraid when you realized I might be a witch?
No, by the time I realized I was a witch, I was not at all afraid. And when a woman calls herself a witch, she's taking back her power. So I am perfectly happy to be here for you.
But I know you've had a lot of years to deal with this. Tell me at the beginning.
At the very beginning?
Weren't you a little afraid?
Sure, absolutely. Okay. I mean, I wasn't afraid, but I was skeptical. I was an intellectual. And so
Ivy League education?
Brown University, top law school, top law firm job. Yeah, I was like anybody else in this culture would be. I'd grown up with the stereotypes and had really no idea that witchcraft was actually the ancient religion of the goddess.
But
and so I was skeptical.
Here, before we go to Kent with some people in the audience, this is some of the email, okay? And I want you to respond. As a Christian, I believe God's holy word in the Bible that tells us witchcraft is detestable to him. People that are involved with this practice are also detestable to God. I personally want to express my outrage at finding out that you will be airing a show about the positive side of witchcraft. We're not trying to do a positive or negative side. It's just we're hearing your story. Your story. This witchcraft is known to be dangerous and evil. We also need to let you know that from the Christian community as a whole, witchcraft is a demonic tool of the devil that represents evil and self-indulgence in its wicked pursuits. We strongly object to any positive coverage or implications concerning witchcraft whatsoever, and they think we are not wanting to hear dissenting views. I encourage it. 206-421-LIVE. Call in. Take her on. But what do you say to these comments?
Well, that's exactly the old stereotypical idea of what a witch is about. Unfortunately, in the late 1400s, the church condemned goddess spirituality, the worship of the goddess, which is the ancient religion and predates Christianity and Judaism by thousands of years, and has nothing to do with Satanism, but unfortunately the church branded it as satanic. There is no devil in the old religion of the goddess, and since there's no devil, we certainly don't worship one. Unfortunately, the accusations were backed up with hundreds of years of persecution, with terrible, hideous, grotesque, and very sexually demented kinds of torture. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed. 90% of them were women, and it was during this same period of time that women lost virtually all of their legal rights. The status of women today is directly born out of what happened to women 500 years ago.
I want to go to Kent in the audience because he's with a group of people who say they also practice witchcraft.
Well, Ayla, why don't you stand up? Because you've got an interesting story. I mean, you let people know, and it hurts you, didn't it? I mean, it hurt your job.
Well, actually, yes. I'm very open about being a witch or practitioner. And a couple of years ago, actually, 96 October, Microsoft. An administrator there found out I was. She threatened to go to my manager, my boss, everything else. Shortly thereafter, I was dismissed for no reason. Microsoft refused to do anything about it. I was a contractor. They didn't care. But it was directly related to my religion, and my performance was, my manager loved my job, so it wasn't that, and he was kind of upset that they let me go. He didn't even know.
So why did you do it? I mean, why did you keep it to yourself?
Why did Martin Luther King march? I mean, this is about freedom. It's about rights. This is America. I mean, I don't do anything wrong. I help people all the time. It's what we do. We don't believe that we can have our sins forgiven. More than anything, we believe we're going to be judged on what we do. And so for, I believe, a witch to do anything wrong or evil, it's just going to come right back to you, so why do it?
Of course, we should mention we haven't talked to Microsoft, so we can't confirm whether this is true or not. It's your word. But I want to ask somebody else here. Leon, if you come up, warlocks, witches, I mean, male witches, is that correct?
Well, you're a witch if you're a witch. You're a warlock if you're a warlock. A warlock is somebody that speaks to insiders and outsiders, and consequently, if you're a priest of Janus, maybe you're a warlock, because it means two-face, mostly.
So warlock is a derogatory term.
Well, it is the way most people use it. You know, there are people that think of themselves as warlocks, but those are unusual people. They're guardians, mostly. They stand at the gateway. They speak to outsiders that come up to the circle edge.
So what attracted you to this, to witchcraft?
Well, I think the thing that attracted me the most was liberty and freedom and the opportunity to use my psychic ability, to use the guidance that God was giving me and that the goddess was giving me.
You know, I've got a question. Say you don't like the way I do today's show. Right. Any one of you who's a witch. Would you go home and, like, this is my stereotype, go in a little circle and say, you know, hocus pocus, you know, that girl is going to go, she's dead tomorrow, or something like this, or
Can I answer?
Well, please jump in, because that's my stereotype of what you're going to do, is you're going to put a bad spell on me if you don't like what I say.
I might do that.
And I'll get you back, but no, go.
And that's exactly it. It is a stereotype. The fact is that a witch comes from an old Anglo-Saxon word, witcha. It meant a wise one. It was a shaman. It was somebody who knew that the world was a sacred and a holy place. It's somebody who knows that we are all divinity in disguise. The last thing on earth, which to us is sacred, that we're going to do is a negative or an evil spell. Because
But maybe you're saying it's for the good to get rid of me.
Oh, well, you're responsible for your own actions. A spell is, first of all, a spell is not done to have control over anyone else or over nature. That's a patriarchal religious concept. Man was placed upon the earth to have dominion over it. Our belief is to live in harmony with nature and to live in harmony with other human beings.
And I need to live in harmony with our advertisers. They're telling me I got to take a quick commercial break. Phyllis claims her spirituality helped her heal in more ways than one, and when we come back, we will tell you how she says it helped her overcome illness. We'll be right back.
These days, students need structure. In my home ec class, my kids know first we cook, then we clean. And that means soaking and scrubbing every pan and then loading it in the dishwasher.
Introducing new Cascade Plus, packed with amazing power pre-treaters that blast away tough food problems you thought your dishwasher couldn't handle. Where other detergents fail, new Cascade Plus leaves incredible results.
A+.
New Cascade Plus, leave the tough stuff to us.
So much beauty in one place. America is a great country, and we've got the best way to see it. The Fall Amtrak Explore America fairs. Round trips from $179 in one region to $299 all across America. Travel in the wide open spaces of comfortable Amtrak trains. It's a great country at a great price. Call 1-800-USA-RAIL now about Fall Amtrak Explore America fairs, or call your travel agent.
Visit the House of Boo, a haunted house for charity. Come down to the 12th Elks Lodge for a frightening good time. Proceeds benefit literacy and scholarships. Call 253-845-9515, extension 5 for more details.
I'm going to make time to spend with my kids.
I'm going to tell my daughter I'm proud of her.
I'm going to teach our family's history.
I'm going to play with my boy. I'm going to listen to my kids.
If you're going to do something with your children today, you're going to make a difference in their lives. It's amazing what happens when you
make time, play, listen.
For kids' sake. Brought to you by the families of Bartell Drugs.
From the Pulitzer Prize-winning novelist Toni Morrison and Jonathan Demme, the Academy Award-winning director of The Silence of the Lambs.
God, girl. What kind of evil you got in there?
Oprah Winfrey, Danny Glover, Tandy Newton. Kimberly Elise, Bea Richards. Beloved.
You came back to me.
Rated R starts tomorrow.
At a moment when the veil between the worlds is thinnest, this is the time to remember the ancient ones.
Phyllis Carrad was a powerful New York attorney and now a witch. And what we're watching here is a coven at work. And I feel odd here. I got to admit it right up front. I mean, as a Christian person myself, I get very worried about talking about things like this, especially when you talk about, I mean, it's fine, do whatever you want. When you start talking about healing, being able to heal and things like that. I mean, I'm 4 generations of doctors on top of that. Can you heal? I mean, you truly believe you can heal?
I believe that each one of us has within us the power to contribute very much to healing. There was a wonderful article in the New York Times on Tuesday in the science section. It was the lead article about the power of the mind that doctors all over the world now are doing studies. They're finding that the placebo effect is baffling them. The only conclusion they can come to is that the powers of the mind to contribute to the healing of the body exceed any of the expectations or the things that we've been raised
You talk
with.
about a friend of yours, Nona, that had cancer, and there was a healing.
Yes.
What went on there? How did that happen?
Actually, she was very ill and had been diagnosed with cancer, had been given a very short time to live. She did the radiation and she did chemo, exactly as we all encouraged her to do. Nobody.
So you're not saying replace
Oh
this?
No, absolutely. Go to a doctor. Take a doctor's advice. You know, if you can, see a progressive and holistic doctor who has a more integrated perspective. But definitely follow your doctor's advice, which she did. But we also worked with her. We did healing energy work, and she far exceeded the expectations. They told her she had about 6 months to live, and she lived about 8 years beyond that.
I want to go to Elizabeth Ann Wright, who is a nurse, and she is joining us on the telephone from Atlanta. And you also practice alternative healing. And what were you told about interviewing Phyllis when you were doing your radio show?
Well, I got quite a mixed review on interviewing Phyllis.
Just sort of like us.
Yeah.
But you know, if you look at her work in her book, it is the work of all ancient indigenous cultures in the world, be it Aborigines, be it yogis, be it the Celtics, be it Native American Indians. It's no different. So if you take away the word witch and look at the practices and what they do, Native Americans aren't criticized for what they do. It's the same thing in a sense.
So do you believe in what she does as a nurse?
Well, not only do I believe in what she does, I have done it in my own life. A lot of us have stories of what people have told us. I had surgery on an elbow that I injured in a ski accident about 2 years ago. And this was the second surgery I had. I did all the herbs. I had a tape going for the 2.5 hours. I was on the table when they had my arm sliced open. And I did everything I knew to do. Meditation, having people pray for me, sending me energy. An hour after I was off of the operating room table, I was at a party. The next day, I was putting logs in my fire with an arm that couldn't even be straightened a day ago.
So then if this is such good stuff, why were there so many witch hunts and why did they burn witches at the stake? Let's take a look at a scene from The Crucible, okay? And then let's talk about that.
This
man is full of spite! I am the witch! His guts were eating my food!
Jump in here and tell me, Phyllis, you know, if you are healing, if you're not doing bad spells, if everything is just positive and wonderful.
Politics. The bane of human existence.
Really?
Sure. Yeah, politics. Politics. I mean, the fact is that if you, unfortunately, most of us are not raised with a very good education. If we were, we'd all know this. You have to go and do your homework, which I did when I was first introduced to these witches, which I described in Book of Shadows. I wanted to know. I was skeptical, just like a lot of the people in this audience. And I went and I did my homework. And what you find is that, unfortunately, when the Crusades were over, the church was in financial chaos. They were in political chaos. There were fiefdoms all over Europe. There were competing sects and warlords, and it was wild. There were also quite a number of Christian sects that were challenging the hegemony of the Catholic Church, which was the dominant religious form at the time, or actually it was not so dominant. And what happened were the heresy trials. It began in the 1300s, and it was not directed against people who worshiped the goddess. Originally, it was directed against other Christian sects like the Cathars and the Albigensians. And so the tortures and the persecutions and the murders began.
I'm wondering about why there is such a newfound fascination. Hollywood has.
Oh, well.
There was Bewitched a few years ago, but now, I mean, you've got the movie, what are you talking about? And there's a new TV series, Charm. Take a look at that.
Look, Phoebe, our powers are not toys. We have to be careful. They could get us killed.
She's right. We don't want any more warlocks finding us.
Look, it was just a lousy...
Why the fascination? Why is it back?
Oh, I love that. The reason that it's back is because goddess spirituality is the fastest growing spiritual movement in the United States. There are millions of people. A large part of the spurt of growth had to do with women, because unfortunately the patriarchal religions have not welcomed women. They've told them that they were the bearers of sin, that the downfall of the human race was because of Eve. They have not been allowed to speak in the churches or the temples. They have been excluded from leadership roles. And they have not had a spiritual home. They have also not had a model of the divine that reflects their reality. And the old religion of the goddess sees the sacred as not just male, but also female. And women needed a spiritual home. Sybil Shepherd recently did a wonderful interview and talked about the importance of finding the goddess. It's deeply empowering and liberating to women. It's something that they require. In fact, I think it's something that the entire culture requires.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. I want to go out in the audience, too, and track down your husband, find out what he likes being married to a witch. And one of our guests' most celebrated days of the year is just around the corner. What rituals, we see some stuff here today perform. Find out in a minute.
Big tobacco. We've seen them lie to Congress.
I personally would not use that word, addiction.
We've seen them lie to you about marketing to your kids.
There are 21-year-olds in college, but we do not direct marketing activities that way.
After $15 million of advertising, we've had enough. At the American Cancer Society, we fight cancer every way we can. If you've had enough of big tobacco and their lies, give us a call. We need your help.
As the body ages, it becomes more fragile, more prone to fall and break. Even walking can be precarious. But with some simple precautions, injuries needn't occur.
I finally got my teeth fixed. I mean, I thought about it for years, but, the house would need painting, or Jack's birthday'd be coming up, or who knows what. Then it hit me. You're allowed to do something for yourself.
Dentistry hasn't really changed for 100 years, until now. Traditional dentistry sacrifices tooth structure and appearance, and frequently uses both metal and mercury. But porcelain bonding saves and permanently restores the health and vitality of your natural teeth. At Radiant Smiles, we don't just deal with major flaws. Even small stains and chips can detract from your smile. In as little as 2 visits, we'll create a new smile for you. What does your smile say? Take a look in the mirror.
What a concept. So, I did it. It was easy, and I know it was the right decision because I just can't seem to stop smiling.
For the specially trained center in your area, call Radiant Smiles today. Toll free 1-877 for a new me.
Do you think that someone's been lying to you? Or you're living a lie and want to come clean? If so, call 206-421-LIVE right after today's show or email us at nwa@komotv4.com.
How much did you give him? I wasn't using a measuring cup. He was trying to kill you.
Practical magic, gonna be a hit in the movies, and a lot of it was filmed right here in the Northwest.
The San Juans.
Yeah, and we are talking about magic, about the mystery of witchcraft today, and we've got Earl on the telephone with a question. Hi, Earl.
You there,
Earl, are you there?
Yes.
Yes. What are you thinking about all this stuff, Earl?
I'm not too happy with it, but how are you all doing today?
We're
fine.
We're hanging in there, Earl.
Great, glad to hear it.
Let's hear
I had a question for Phyllis.
Yes, please.
I wanted to know, has she ever read the Christianity Bible?
The Christianity Bible. Do you mean the New Testament?
New Testament.
Does he mean the New Testament? When he says
Old or New Testament, if you're either one.
Actually, I have. A very interesting thing, people constantly throw up this line about thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, which actually, if you look back, you'll find that that's a mistranslation. What it actually said originally was thou shalt not suffer a poisoner to live, but there was a great deal of antagonism in the King James court towards witches at the time because of the political situation.
Okay, Earl, so she's
and
read
they
it.
mistranslated it.
She's read it and went back to Greek,
we're living with
Earl.
the consequences of it today. Although we're changing those consequences.
I want to ask your husband, you're practicing, Bruce is here too, what's it like being, first of all, married to a witch, and then you're a witch yourself, right?
Correct. You want me to answer what it's like being married to a witch?
Yeah, what's it like being married to a witch?
Well, were you a witch when you married her?
Well, probably, but I call myself a Taoist, and being in New York, it's a type A Taoist, so... But what's it like being married to a wonderful woman who is filled with love and with kindness and with generosity and who is honorable and decent and sensual and present and reliable? It's pretty good.
Now you know why I married him.
That's the best sucking up I've ever heard on this show. That was
Now you know why I married him.
But
part of the reason, anyway.
Part of the other reason is, didn't you do a spell and find him, too?
Oh, that's a wonderful story. And it's a really good example of what a spell is all about. Yes, on my birthday, I did a love spell. I was ready to have love in my life. And the way that you do a love spell is not to make somebody fall in love with you, but to find the person who's right for you. It's basically like opening the channels of communication and movement. And so I asked for somebody who was right for me to come. And I asked for a sign so I would know who it was. 8 months later, I'm starting to think, the spell is not working. Maybe I didn't use the right ingredients or whatever. And I wake up from a dream. We were talking about dreams before. I wake up from a dream. In the dream, a very tall, handsome man appeared, dark hair, and offered me his hand, and I got on the back of a black motorcycle and rode off into the clouds and light and lots of laughter. And I wake up, and the phone is ringing, and I pick it up, and it's my friend Mitchell, who is trying to persuade me to meet a very good friend of his. And I keep saying no because I've sworn off men so that the love of my life will manifest, until he tells me that this guy rides a Harley. And I asked him what color it was, and he said it was black, and I agreed to meet him. And I met him 4 days later. The other interesting ingredient in this is that night, the night of the dream, he had been talking to Bruce and said he wanted to introduce him to me. So magic works. You have to be careful what you ask for.
Why isn't this coincidence?
It is coincidence. It's extraordinary coincidence.
8 months later, though, after the spell.
Yeah, but it's meaningful coincidence. It's magical coincidence. And everybody who has these kinds of coincidences and pays attention to them begins to realize that the universe is alive and it is aware of us and it interacts with us. It's not dead, inanimate matter that's been put there for our use and our abuse, to be treated like a garbage heap.
We don't have a lot of time left, and Halloween is coming up, but I'm wondering, what do you guys do on Halloween? I mean, do you have a bunch of eye and nude in the pocket? I don't know.
We stay home, we watch TV, we watch Charmed. No. we hide. No. What we do is it's a holy day. We call it Samhain, and it's the ancient Celtic New Year. And for us, we say that the veil between the worlds is thinnest. It's a day on which we honor our ancestors, and that's what we do. We honor those that we love who've passed away.
You've got some things here. Oh. Are these used in spells or things? Or just...
They're used in the casting of a circle is basically the recognition that the world is a sacred place. We don't work in temples and churches because for us the earth is sacred. So we designate the space that we're working in as sacred. It's the beginning of taking off the blindfold to see the world as a holy place. Which I think it's important for Christians to understand.
I'm probably going to have to give equal time to my rabbi after this show. You know that.
Well, they've had plenty of time. Actually, we're the ones who need the time now. They've had Fred for several thousand years.
20 seconds left if you can explain what...
They go in each of the four, just like Native Americans, these go in each of the four directions. The east, the south, the west, and the north. And each one represents an element of the earth. The star is an ancient symbol of life. If we had time, I'd cut open an apple and show you that the seeds make a star. And
we don't have time. Unfortunately, we're out of time.
All right.
You've been fascinating. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you,
really.
We'll be right back. You can find Phyllis Carrot's book, Book of Shadows, in bookstores for $25. Props for the show supplied by Edge of the Circle Books at 701 East Pike Street at Boylston Avenue. That's 2 blocks west of Broadway on Capitol Hill. Call 206-726-1999. That's PAN 1999.
Tonight on KOMO-4 News.
Next time you stay at a hotel, will you be sleeping on day-old sheets?
See how some hotels are postponing linen laundry to save a buck and save the earth.
Tonight at 5 on KOMO-4 News.
Healthcare as a second language. Let's get started. Shall we repeat after me? My EOB lists the PCP for my HMO.
My EOB lists the PCP for my HMO.
Excellent. Does my copay count towards my stop loss?
Does my copay count towards my stop loss?
That's the spirit.
The customer service staff at Regents Blue Shield speaks more than 40 languages, and one of them is plain English.
What are you going to do with that thermometer?
Are you a nonprofit organization, school, or group hosting a charity event that would like free publicity? Call 206-443-8305 to learn more about the opportunity to advertise on Northwest Afternoon.
This is Star Music. Star 101.5, the best mix of the 80s, 90s, and today. 80s music. 90s music. Today's music. Star 101.5. Nothing's right, I'm sorry. The best mix of the 80s, 90s, and today. With Kent and Allen giving away computers tomorrow at 7:15 a.m. Listen.
For consistent quality, choose Meineke. Nationwide, you get the same great service. It's like seeing a familiar face. Hi there. Told you. You get the same high-quality mufflers, expert brake service, and dependable shocks. All for that great Meineke price.
For a limited time, save a big 50% off lifetime brake pads and shoes.
At Meineke, you won't pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
We guarantee it.
In Kent and Parkland, police are combing the area right now for a man believed to be responsible for 5 assaults on women. The 5th victim was attacked just yesterday, and unlike the previous 4, she wasn't able to get away.
Tomorrow, one of America's leading experts on crime and personal safety comes to Northwest Afternoon. J.J. Bittenbinder, you might have seen him on Oprah, Primetime Live with Diane Sawyer, Good Morning America. This guy is incredible. I spent some time with him this morning, and he told me everything about how to carry your purse the right way, what kind of tool you want to have with you so that you are safe. And with the rash of attacks going on, we're going to learn some invaluable tips on how not to be a victim.
It's a good show for tomorrow, you guys.
Especially how to avoid a carjacking, too.
Exactly. Tomorrow, I'm going to make one of you very, very happy. It's our grand prize drawing to see which one of you goes to meet Jax. And then on One Life to Live, Naughty Nora's desperate lie about being pregnant may become a reality. Eesh, the scoop on that tomorrow. Plus, on Y&R, Sharon's life is about to be shattered in more ways than one. Life-changing scoop tomorrow.
Yeah, and watch it was interesting.
Fascinating.
KOMO News 4 coming up at 5 o'clock.
See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Some of the guests on Northwest Afternoon stay at the Four Diamond Madison Renaissance Hotel, featuring Prego Restaurant, where guests enjoy spectacular views of Seattle and innovative Northern Italian cuisine. For reservations, call 1-800-228-9290. Hair and beauty services provided by Jean Juarez with 6 salons to serve you. Call 323-7773 for the salon nearest you.
In just 1 hour on KOMO-4 News, a setback today for Superintendent John Stanford. His cancer is back. Kathy Gertson is interviewing Mr. Stanford right now. Coming up at 5 o'clock, hear from Mr. Stanford and what happens now. Also new at 5 o'clock, the federal government wants major changes to nearly every airplane in the sky. Should you be worried the next time you fly? And this rabbi gets busted for taking a lot more than religion into prison. Details on KOMO-4 News at 5 o'clock.